podcast you're about to listen to is from a book series on post-qualitative, new materialist, and critical post-humanist research. I'm Karen Murris and chief editor of this new Routledge series. You can find it on the following website, www.postqualitativeresearch.com.
Between Spin and Drift, or Overviews and Undercurrents, by Meghan Judge. This chapter acts as an afterword, and it is a follow-up from an invitation I had to present a response to the conference Hydrofeminisms and Wild Engagements with Oceans Toward a Justice to Come in South African Contexts, which has since been expanded into this book. Initially, my response was themed What Bubbles Up. I respond from my position as a scholar of the oceanic humanities and as an artist and curator who has participated in and facilitated cultural exchanges between islands in the Western Indian Ocean region and Eastern and Southern continental Africa. And in this, I've drawn on my ever-expanding and varied reception of the complex material, affective, and socio-political oceanic frequencies transmitted across the region. Sounding within this are the always already entangled histories of interconnectivity, situated knowledges, migration, forced labor, mythology, spirituality, modernity, terror-centered biases, power, resistance, amphibious technologies and cosmologies, all of which thicken the present with the settled and unsettled presence of a deep past. Being of varied settler and migratory descent in this region myself, I also take up and grapple with post-colonial legacies that continue to divide eco-social relations today. I pay specific attention to the limits of knowability, taking up an incorporeal openness that allows for adjustments to epistemological frameworks that are brittle and currently corroding. I'm curious about the rupturing of linearity that has largely been asserted through modernity within this region. I'm interested in how the past becomes stuck in the present and how this is noticed through a noisy excess that refuses to disappear. At its core, these ruptures reshape imaginaries of human figurations and personhood. And as this book demonstrates, these imaginaries extend into and through colonial technologies for erasing nature-human relations on land and oceans, dividing bodies that once coexisted. The forwarding of hydrobodies in this book as an alternative to this imaginary is a move away from the terracentric exceptionalization of bodies, recognizing instead bodies as different, watery, and mixing with the potential for what they might become. These bodies are a future on its way, but also bodies recuperated and remembered. Through engaging with the materialities of the ocean, especially in relation to the sonic that I mostly work with, I am reminded that some frequencies are beyond the hearing range of the anthropocentric human listener. This reminder calls 2 points together. These specifically constructed figurations of the human and the material activities of the ocean itself. These 2 points open a productive tension for inquiring into human-ocean relations and need not sit entirely dualistically. The material and the immaterial touch, move, and become through the undercurrents that are driven by positions, density, winds, and force. Realizing temporalities of matter active within planetary activities allows for a reorienting outside of narratives constructed by power and progress. The South African context offers a scaling of attention through frequency ranges that are too often silenced by dominant narratives of historiography, yet always corrode into their edges. This book moves toward justice, toward rest, but is not quite there yet. As such, the chapters do not sound in harmony, but instead perform through differences that noise together. This book rings through such noise. It rings with the release of ghosts that haunt an amnesiac climate, shaking the scaffoldings of colonial apparatus. The chapters in this book that I outline here work through the present as a movement, bubbles spinning around differing bodies that plunge between past and future, above and below the waterline. Stories are shaped through skin and salt.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you would like to know more about this chapter, please visit the website www.postqualitativeresearch.com. And please stay tuned for future podcasts.